Show me your hand. Get on your stomach. Get on your stomach right now. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. Open all the way. Stick your tongue out.
On September 24th, officers responded to a shoplifting call at Target after a suspect fled on foot with over $1,000 in stolen merchandise. His female associate was detained near a van that had been reported stolen. This is the legal breakdown. The initial detention of the female suspect is legally supported under Terry v. Ohio. Her proximity to a stolen vehicle and her association with the fleeing shoplifter gave officers reasonable suspicion to detain and question her. She voluntarily provided a physical description of the male suspect and offered her belongings for search without being asked. Under Schneckloth v. Bustamonte, consent to search must be voluntary and free from coercion. Her unprompted offer clearly satisfies this standard.
John, that's about all I know.
What is he wearing? You're already in trouble, so might as well just... Well, he's in trouble.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
But, he's wearing, I think, like a black hoodie or a dark colored hoodie.
Okay.
And he definitely did come here to steal things.
Okay, how old is he?
I don't know.
No, okay.
I personally met him through that I've known like my whole
So
life.
a black hoodie, anything else?
And I think dark colored jeans.
Dark colored
These are
jeans?
darker like her jeans for sure. He's like at least 6 feet, he's pretty tall. So you can search anything of mine. I did not come here for any ill reason at all.
Okay. Does he have facial hair?
Yeah, he does.
What does he have?
Short. He's like short beard. Like,
Is it a full beard or a goatee?
it's like yours, but it's a full beard.
I didn't find your wallet in here. If you want though, you can put all this stuff back in your backpack, okay? She believes there is white boxes in there that might be stolen.
I just want to make sure he didn't take my money.
We found him, so we're gonna check him, and if he has your wallet.
Got him. 32, I got him. Show me your hands, you're gonna get tased. Come out, show me your hands, you're gonna get tased. Come out towards me and show me your hands or you're going to get tased. Right now. Come over here to me and keep your fucking hands up. Show me your hands. Get on your stomach. Get on your stomach right now. I will tase you. Get on your stomach. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back, both of them. Now. Put your hands together behind your back. Don't move! You move again, I'm tasing you. 32.
There's a hole in the fence, but he's gonna
have to lay down and roll.
All right, get up, start walking.
Well, we gotta do it. It's the only way out.
I could pull the fence up and then go in and try to cut it off.
Start pulling yourself up. Get on your side.
Please start walking.
Stand up.
Get up.
Did he leave with any merchandise?
He ditched the cart.
Alright, there's a red bandana on you.
Grab that bandana. Start walking. What are you doing?
Why are you acting like you?
You're running out of force.
He's good enough to run, but now he's not enough to walk.
You probably took something. You better start walking. You probably ate something. Was he acting like this in the store?
No, he was shopping like normal. What'd you eat?
Yeah. What'd you take, dude?
Sit down.
I think you might have swallowed something. What'd you take?
I got Narcan too.
Hey, what'd you take, dude? It's not worth dying over. What'd you take?
Does he still have something in his mouth? Because he's making like a chew.
Open your mouth. Open your mouth. Open all the way. Stick your tongue out. Open your mouth. Stick your tongue out.
Yeah.
Go inside. Stay there. What'd you eat? What'd you eat? I got another one in the door there.
That's fine. Shove it in his nose and squeeze it up. Hey, keep your head up. Hey. Hey,
keep your head up. Come here. Keep your head up. What'd you take, dude?
All right, John, one last question. This is for the ambulance to save your life, all right? We need to know what you took. Not to put charges on you, to save your life.
What'd you take? It's only going to help you out.
You
know what's in the needle.
You know what? You can tell the ambulance crew if you don't want to tell us. That way they know what to give you.
We already found the needle. They just want to know what you took, so they know what to give you. What is it?
Let them kill me.
All right, they're not going to.
We're going to save your life today.
We're here to save your life, just because of the Narcan, but...
Can you stand, John, you think?
Yeah, I can stand just fine.
All right.
I have my effects.
Your effects?
Oh.
All right, man, if we can stand, let's stand up and have a seat over here.
Gross.
Officers located the male suspect hiding in dense brush behind a fence. They could not see his hands or confirm whether he was armed. Multiple taser warnings were issued before any physical contact was made. Under Graham versus Connor, force must be judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on scene, not with the benefit of hindsight. A concealed suspect with unknown weapon status justifies an elevated force posture. The fact that the taser was threatened but never deployed demonstrates disciplined escalation consistent with the use of force continuum. Once in custody, the suspect became sluggish and unresponsive. A Target employee confirmed he was behaving normally inside the store, meaning the substance was consumed after he fled, almost certainly an attempt to destroy evidence. Officers began asking what he took. They explicitly stated the question was to save his life, not to file charges. This is a textbook application of the public safety exception established in New York versus Quarles. That ruling allows officers to ask unmirandized questions when there is an immediate threat to life. Identifying the substance was medically necessary, so paramedics could administer the correct treatment. Officers administered Narcan nasally after observing the suspect still chewing and losing consciousness. The Narcan took effect within minutes. Under the 14th Amendment, as interpreted in City of Revere versus Massachusetts General Hospital, law enforcement has a constitutional duty to provide adequate medical care to individuals in custody. The officer's rapid recognition of overdose symptoms and immediate Narcan deployment met this obligation. The suspect stated, quote, "Let him kill me." Officers responded that they were going to save his life. Regardless of a suspect's wishes, officers in custody situations are legally obligated to preserve life. They did so correctly.
Clean those gloves off, man.
As the male is transported to the hospital, officers question his partner about her role in the theft and their van, which has been reported stolen.
I don't know. They got me a seizure or some shit.
No, yeah, we're gonna figure it out.
Oh, I came here for it.
I know. Sure,
It's
just
not okay.
put your stuff back in your bag and then we'll figure it out.
I'm not having nothing. I'm coming. I just got ran about 6 months ago. I've been doing really good on it. This is the first year after that.
When did you relapse?
For the first time.
Today?
Yeah, today.
Okay, so you just met him today?
No,
Or how
this
many?
is the second time I've ever hung out with him.
Okay, so real quick,
Yeah.
so you said you used. Does he use as well?
We're
just because right now the ambulance is
nothing
gonna talk.
else,
Ambulance is
yes.
gonna figure out talk to him. So if we
Yeah.
can, okay,
Yeah, no, I know he does uppers. I don't know when he has,
Okay.
or if he has a day or what time or anything, but I know he does uppers.
are you okay with us searching your purse to make sure he didn't put any stolen items in there?
I absolutely.
Okay, perfect. We don't want him to put the blame on you, you know.
No, because this is
They have your purse.
I put
You didn't get
everything.
very far.
I put everything back in your bags. I'm gonna leave them right here, okay?
Let's not jump to conclusions and start thinking ahead. I know you're. Yeah, I understand that. You have every reason to do this.
Okay, so yeah, I've been hearing all of this and this is like probably maybe the whole big time that I was coming out with because I'm trying to work on myself. And nobody, when you're trying to get sober, I obviously don't hang out with the same people.
Yeah.
But there are, there are good people. I've tried to find good people.
No, but
and
you gotta
then
keep
you
trying.
find out they're not good people.
Yeah, but let's be real. Let's be real for a second.
The world is
Okay? Did we think John was a decent person? You see him starting a car with a screwdriver.
Listen,
You know, we gotta start looking elsewhere. I get it. But
I know.
Yeah,
Listen,
ignition's on it.
no, I didn't think
Yeah,
he was
he
like
said-
a great
she said he
guy,
started with screwdriver.
but I didn't think he was this big of a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I tried to like looking for the good shit, but
Sometimes we want to look for the good, but be realistic, right?
yeah.
It's okay.
It
It is. Hey, because you want to see the good. We just gotta be honest, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never came back with the 43 I gave, right?
Nobody is a
Just check.
I take a puff of that.
What's going on?
We go and put your hand in a bit.
Turning to the female suspect, officers later asked for consent to search her purse, explaining they wanted to ensure the male suspect had not placed stolen items inside. She agreed immediately and without hesitation. This consent was properly obtained. Officers provided a clear reason, used no coercion, and received affirmative agreement. However, the situation changed when officers confirmed that surveillance footage showed her loading merchandise into the vehicle. At that point, probable cause existed for her arrest, independent of any consent search findings. She was also identified as the driver of the stolen van, a vehicle she reportedly watched the male suspect start with a screwdriver. Operating a vehicle you know or should know to be stolen is a felony in every jurisdiction. Her statements during this encounter were made prior to formal arrest and prior to any Miranda requirement. Under Rhode Island versus Ennis, Miranda attaches only during custodial interrogation. The initial conversation was a non-custodial, consensual encounter, making her voluntary statements admissible.
We'll explain.
Okay, that's lovely. Am I being charged with something?
Talk about it.
Okay. So I'm going to jail?
Right now, you are
Why?
being arrested because we're going to investigate some stuff.
About
Okay.
about that?
About a couple things. I'll explain to you in the car.
Okay.
Just take a seat.
Okay. Why did you guys not tell me this?
Because we didn't know until right now.
Okay. But this is lovely.
Here, come outside real quick. I'm going to check you real quick. I got to pat you down, make sure you got
That's
nothing.
fine.
Face this way.
You're,
You got nothing on you, right?
what am I being invested? I'm going to jail and being charged? Is that what's going on here?
So right now, again, we need to figure out, as of now, because you were with them, they caught you on camera loading stuff into the car. And then, okay, so we'll talk more at the station, but as of now, that's as much as we got, okay? And then also, the car is stolen, and you were driving it, so there's no
I was not driving that car. Yes, when an officer...
So we'll talk some more, okay? We'll talk some more.
Both suspects were charged with retail theft, resisting arrest, and possession of a stolen vehicle. The male suspect was transported to the hospital. Final case disposition is unknown at the time of this analysis. Now for the grades. The responding officers receive a B+. The taser was warned, but never deployed appropriate restraint. Narcan was administered quickly, potentially saving a life. The consent search was conducted properly. Their conversation with the female suspect about her addiction struggles showed empathy without compromising the investigation. These are marks of effective, professional policing. However, profane language was used during the apprehension. Officers initially mistook overdose symptoms for noncompliance, and the female suspect was not told she was under investigation until late in the encounter, a communication gap. The male suspect, identified only as John, receives a D. He committed felony-level retail theft, fled from officers, and hid in a concealed position where his hands were not visible. Each of these decisions independently escalated the legal consequences and the tactical danger of the encounter. Most critically, he ingested narcotics during the pursuit to destroy evidence, a decision that nearly killed him. He then refused to tell officers or paramedics what he consumed, further delaying life-saving treatment. No shoplifting charge is worth your life. Destroying evidence by ingestion is never the answer. The female suspect receives a B-. She was cooperative from the start, consented to searches, provided information voluntarily, and did not attempt to flee or obstruct the investigation. However, she was driving a stolen vehicle, was captured on surveillance loading stolen merchandise, and associated with an individual she watched start a car with a screwdriver. Cooperation does not erase complicity. 3 lessons from this incident. First, Narcan saves lives, and every officer should carry it. This suspect would likely be dead without it. Departments that have not yet mandated Narcan carry should treat this footage as a case study for why it is essential. Second, know the difference between noncompliance and a medical emergency. A suspect who was running 30 seconds ago and suddenly cannot walk is not being defiant. Early recognition of overdose symptoms can mean the difference between a successful save and a death in custody. Third, for anyone watching who may find themselves in a similar situation, do not ingest unknown substances to avoid charges. A theft charge, even a felony, carries fines and possible jail time. Swallowing drugs during a pursuit carries a body bag. The legal system has defense attorneys, plea negotiations, and due process protections. Use them. They exist for a reason. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our second channel, Audit the Court, for even more police interaction and courtroom content.